This is the Sports Porch, Black and Gold, with your hosts, the technical director, the Grand Schwabini, and Hockey Jesus. Come on, Pittsburgh. Let's show a little Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates love. The Sports Porch Black and Gold starts now.
Woo!
It's the Porch Black and Gold post-game show live from the Monroeville basement studio. I'm the TD, and that guy over there, that's Hockey Jesus, but right now he's Steelers Jesus.
We shook up the world, baby.
This is the sport. Look, I can see outside your window. It's not very good studio decor there.
What? You want to see what the neighbors are doing over there? No?
They're probably drinking irons. They're probably drinking irons.
They're about to shoot off some fireworks soon.
Anyway, as I said, I'm the TD. He's Hockey Jesus. Here we are on the porch. Sports Porch Black and Gold, the post-game show all over the world. We're on YouTube right now. If you're joining us there and you haven't already, hit at the Sports Porch Podcast. Hit that subscribe button. If you're on Twitter or X, at the Sports Porch 1. In the tickers, our new shop, sportsporchshop.com.
He did touch it.
Where you can get stuff like this. Steve's still watching other football games.
No, the Bengals may have gotten this onside kick. They can still win this game. Yeah,
okay.
That's sorry. I'm moving on. Steelers win.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Hey, listen. Chime in. We want your comments. This is where you come to voice your opinion. We're one of the original YouTube shows, I think.
Oh, we've been here forever.
We've been here forever.
Just, people are finally finding us.
Yeah.
How about them Steelers today, baby? Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, 27-20.
27-20.
A whole ton of turnovers. The offense did basically what it's been doing every game. You know what I mean? I mean, like we can hand out some game balls in a little bit. We'll want to know all about your balls, game balls. That is
game balls. We don't want to know about all your balls.
It's been a good day. It's been a good day as far as Steelers football goes.
It's been a damn good day.
Yeah, and we've been very critical, very, very critical. If you watch our TikToks and you watch our reels and you watch our shorts, by the way, it's Black and Gold and it's the Sports Porch. You can find us on any of those platforms. That's how you support us, because we're not going to charge you for a subscription for exclusive content.
Dude, Alex Highsmith was an absolute monster.
Yeah, let's get to the game. He was. TJ Watt showed up.
Wow.
Jalen Ramsey showed up. Hey, Joey Porter was very, very handsy, but he had some game-saving plays. So how can you fault that?
Got an interception at the end there,
Right. How can you fault that? What's I'll tell you what, let's structure it, because I want to get some comments coming in right now. Okay. So HJ, what's the best part of the defense that was displayed today? What's the overall bet? We'll do best.
I mean, this is a simple one. When TJ got that sack, that strip, that fumble recovery, the whole game changed. Everything about the game changed. Remember, Colts were up 7-0. They were driving. They were, had the ball about midfield, and you had that old feeling where it's like, oh, damn it, the Steelers are going to do it again. I mean, Alex Pierce had 3 receptions for 64 yards.
Yeah.
They can't get off the field. 2 fourth downs.
Right.
Everything bad was going on. We go 3 and out twice in a row. You punt it back to them, and here come the Colts, man. Here they come. And TJ finally wakes up, and he gets the big play. That's what the Steelers defense is built on, man. That's it. They need the splash plays. After that, man, everybody felt it. Everybody's like, okay, let's go, including the offense. The offense got it together. They got 21 points off of those turnovers, those 6 turnovers. And all Steelers after that. But the defensive splash plays, TJ in particular, just coming out and being who we needed to be. That's what we pay him to do. That's what the Steelers organization pays TJ to do.
Wow.
And got it done. He got it done.
Yeah, let me get Mr. Tummy's comment in here. Happy for the win, but I'd prefer boring 3 and outs over splash plays. Listen, you know what? Yes, it's not a matter of preference, because I'd actually prefer a game filled with splash plays, because that makes it more entertaining. right? Am I wrong about that? But you're not going to get 6, 7 turnovers, 5, 4, every
Yeah,
game. You're
6,
hoping
right?
you're hoping to not turn the ball over or turn it over at most once and get at least 2 turnovers. That's what you're praying for. So you get a
Right.
game where you get 6 and you don't win, you're being run out of town on a dead horse. You know what I mean? So
100% on that.
right. So Mr. Tommy, you're right. I mean, yes, I'd rather see the defense hold and force punts and force 4th and long so teams don't go for it. Holy hell. The Colts at one point were 5 for 5 on 4th down.
Yep.
So I don't think this exposed the Colts as a not as good a team
I think it did.
Well, hold on. Let me finish. I think it did expose them, but the Steelers defense was playing for its life. I mean, this is Mike Tomlin, but imagine, actually, I don't want to say that. I just want to say, imagine if, as everybody thought, the Colts came out and hung 35 on the Steelers.
Right.
Imagine the feelings around town. So, I think I think the best part of the defense was holding Jonathan Taylor in check.
Yeah.
I'm looking at here right now, 14 carries for 45 yards.
Yep.
Now, we talked about this all week. That's the look. Sorry, Inzers.
Oh, those damn Bengals. Sorry.
Hey, could you not watch another game on the Steelers show?
Well, what happens to the Bengals is important.
Out loud, at least. Out loud. Anyway, this is sorry guys, this is the Belichick defense, that they used. You find the one person you can't let have a good game. Because if Jonathan Taylor has a good game, he's going to run for 115, 120 yards. That's a good game for him. And this game is a lot different. The defense stepped up. The defense stopped the run. Mm-hmm. Finally, they did that. Now, the Colts didn't scheme as much for the run either, I noticed. But I don't think they were on their game. After those first couple drives, where our offense looked horrible and our defense didn't look great, it was, you're right, the Watt sack was a big moment. But even now, I was like, in the past, this was a big moment that would turn the tide. But I'm not sure today. But they did. They turned the tide. So I think the best part of the D was the run defense. Anybody else out there want to comment on that, or?
Dude, you're right. Look, we're very critical. We've been very critical about the Steelers and their defensive schemes. And this week they got it right. 100%. If you stop Jonathan Taylor, you stop the Indianapolis Colts. And that's exactly what they did. Now, saying it and doing it are two different things. Okay. So, but this week, they definitely did not lose their focus on stopping Jonathan Taylor at every aspect of the game. Maybe there was one time when they were down, when the Steelers were up by 10 points where Taylor might have ripped off an 8-yard or a 9-yard run. That's okay. That's okay, because at that point, you want them to eat up some clock. So if they're running the ball at that point, they're going to be eating up some clock. So kudos to Tomlin for having the right scheme. Kudos to the defense for being able to play it out and get the splash plays. So, when we're critical, we also have to say, game balls to when it works. And it absolutely worked this week. And you're right. It's a classic Tomlin rebound game. Yeah. Everybody counts him out. Tomlin loves it when he says, everybody says the Steeler defense is garbage. He loves to rub it in their faces. He won't come out on the press, in the post game and say, I told you so. But that's where his head is. That's what he's thinking. And he's not wrong. I mean, we especially were critical about him. And I think rightfully so, because I think the thing about the Colts, and this is why I say they exposed the Colts. The Colts, I got this from the counselor, so thanks to the counselor on this. The Colts opponents up to today had an average win percentage of 387. Okay, so maybe the Colts 7-1 record was not exactly what it should be, and likewise, maybe the Steelers being 4-3. Yeah, that's probably right, to be honest with you, because I think the Steelers are maybe a little bit better than average team. And once again, a better than average team in the division we're in, that's good. That's very good. Now, it looks like the Bengals are probably going to win this game, and they're going to go to 4-5. So that only gives them a 2-game lead over the Bengals. And here come the Baltimore Ravens, too. So they're going to have to continue to win in order to do this. So one game is good. Let's see if they can string 2 or 3 together. But I did like what I saw today from that defense. What do you think about the offense today, there, TD?
That's what I was just sitting here looking at those statistics. The best part of the offense.
It's hard to pick, isn't it?
Yeah,
because there was not one person
no.
who like totally had a great game, totally took off because CA3 did okay. CA3, Washington caught some balls, dropped some balls. Right. DK was pretty much invisible. I thought he didn't have a very good game.
2 catches for 6 yards.
Yeah, Muth was.
Well, he had that touchdown.
Okay. Muth was, so it's not like the offense really, and I think Jaylen Warren was mediocre at best. So I don't think their offense, was particularly great.
No. You asked me what I thought, and then you told me what you thought. So now I'm going to tell you what I.
Well, I mean, you're taking too much time. Our fans here have to get home to their loved ones. They're heading home from the game. They don't have 4 hours to
put in your earbuds and listen in the car. Listen, I think the best part of the offense, honestly, you know exactly where I'm going to go. So first, I'm just going to say. Yes, that as individuals, the offensive performances were adequate. There was no standout, period.
Right.
Darnell Washington, though, 4 receptions for 43 yards. Listen, I've been singing his song since they drafted him, not because I think he's going to be Rob Gronkowski. He will never, ever be Rob Gronkowski. But what he is an offensive lineman who is more athletic.
All right, Bears, let's go. Come on, get in the end zone. Yeah. All right. Let's go. Beat those Bungles.
Words cannot describe the anger I have for you stealing my rant. What are you doing? I was in the middle of that was I was going somewhere ethereal with that. Anyway, Darnell Washington, you get him involved and he changes the outlook for the defense, because now they're going, okay, this guy who is pretty much an extra blocker, now all of a sudden it's like they threw to him 6 times and he caught the last 4, and he's really hard to bring down. So now they have to account for him. So that was a big step today. And I think that was probably, and it's just pure speculation on my part, that was probably Aaron Rodgers this past week in practice pushing for it, because he's been saying since the beginning of the year that he really likes Darnell Washington. It's because he's a huge target, and if he's a huge target, he can just turn his back on the defense, and Rodgers should have a guaranteed reception. So, and then anything after that is a bonus because he's not going to outrun anyone. So I thought that was great. Calvin Austin, 5 receptions for 56 yards. Okay, so he's our number 2 guy who became our number 1 guy for a game. Roman Wilson fumbling that ball, right? I didn't actually see that when I got up to come down here, and I think I missed that, but I saw the aftermath. Rodgers was a pedestrian, 25 of 35 for 203 yards with 1 touchdown. That was decent, 95.3 rating. I mean, the best part of the O is the part that we didn't give up the ball and we took enough time off the clock, and we got Darnell Washington involved in the offense in a way that made him a distraction, because he's not going to catch 15 touchdowns in 1 year. That's what I've been saying for 2 years.
I know. I know. You're like, you got to throw it to him. You got to throw it to him. And I agree with you. You know, when you have a mismatch of like 8 inches on a defensive back, you absolutely have to take advantage of that. You've always been right with that. But the thing that was curious today about the offense is I don't think they chucked it deep, past 20 yards, not once. I thought that was interesting because Rodgers usually at least takes one shot down the field.
Right.
I don't even think they had one shot down the field. So that I don't know why. I don't know why they're moving away from that. And I think that's why, maybe DK was what he was, whatever, 2 catches for 4 yards or whatever.
Touchdown Bills.
So
7-0 over Kansas City.
So yeah. So I mean that's the way it is. I think that what else happened? So back to the defense just for a second. I think Cam's superpower was out in force today. Knocking down those balls, knocking them up in the air.
All he does. That's all he does.
I mean, he's just so damn good at it. I don't know if it's timing. I don't know if it's just his veteran savvy.
I think it's that.
If Cam has the superpower of knocking down balls, DK Metcalf's superpower is drawing 15-yard penalties. How many times can that guy piss off the defensive backs so that they get so upset that they want to swing at him, or if somebody wants to come over and punch him in the face, and they always get the flag.
He's got a potty mouth. That is a
superpower,
He's got a potty mouth. What can I say? A potty mouth on DK Metcalf. In this case, it's the good kind, the kind that gets you 15-yard penalties. It's not the George Pickens kind.
Yeah. And Peyton Wilson with the interception, he looked pretty good.
That was great. That was a great play, the way he hit himself behind that offensive dude. I don't remember who it was, but he kind of took a step to his left and disguised himself. It was probably half by accident because it's the design of the play, but it worked well and just stepped right in front of that ball. Yeah, I thought that was a great interception. I mean, look, I think the bigger question here, and this is one that we can, if you're watching us on YouTube, thanks for being here. You hit that subscribe button at the Sports Porch Podcast, and then click notifications because you'll know we're live. And we're live every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We got a new shop down there with some Pittsburgh draft gear because the draft, in case you haven't heard, it's going to be in Pittsburgh this upcoming year. So will it continue? Will it continue? See, that's the thing. That's why I call this the classic Tomlin rebound game, because everything about it is classic. It's almost as if this was the last game of the season that would mean anything if they didn't win. If they lost this game, everybody felt, you could say it's a long season. We all know that, but everybody felt like, wow, that's called momentum downhill. 3 in a row. We get crushed by this team. And they have got to respond, like for their careers, for their contracts, for their season. They all got to do it. And they did, because they're professionals. Makes me wonder. You know what I mean? Makes me wonder.
Right.
The big deal is, will it continue? I mean, look what we got coming in here next week. We got to
go to the LA. We got to go to LA for Sunday night game. That's going to be difficult. But the good thing is you stop the 2-game losing streak with a game you were not supposed to win. You were the underdog, so that's good. Right. And then that makes the LA game kind of a toss-up, right? And then after that, you got the Bungles coming in, and then you got the Bears after that. So, I mean, you're in that time of the season where you're probably, at least I don't see the Steelers stringing 2 or 3 together. But at this point, with our record, as long as you can go win 1, lose 1, you're probably going to be in the playoffs, because Baltimore is the team that's got to run off 6 in a row. The Bengals did just lose to the Bears, so now they're reeling. They're in trouble.
I hate the Bears too. I hate them. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, but the Steelers got to play in Chicago, so they're not. That's not going to be an easy game to win, but. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it needs to. I don't think this type of play needs to continue. But what I would like to see them do more of is a more consistent offense, meaning not starting at the 50-yard line and getting into the end zone. I'd like to see them put together a 10 play run, pass, get your third downs. That offense didn't really do that today. They weren't very good on third downs. And the only reason I think they scored as much as they did was because they had the short field. So I attribute some of that to the defense for sure. So I think this offense still has to prove that it can go on long drives, and this defense has to prove that, they got to do it against somebody proven. Let's face it, Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones.
Right. Well,
come on. I mean, he doesn't strike fear into your heart when you say those names, right? When you say Justin Herbert, now you're like, okay, that's a guy we got to stop, right? So that's going to be the challenge for next week, is stopping Justin Herbert, which is a much bigger name and a much more proven commodity than Daniel Jones. So that's the way I feel about it.
This is true. Mr. Tommy points out average points for 25.3, points against 24.4. Basically, a win-loss is a coin flip. Well, yeah, that's why we're 5-3. We were 4-3. Now we're 5-3. Just a little better. Good. Just a little better. Yeah, and I think the will it continue question is huge. It's huge. I want to say yes.
You think so?
But I don't think it's going to continue. I think they're going to go to LA, and I think Justin Air Bear is going to carve them up. I hate saying that as a Steelers fan. We've seen this before. It's important that they win. It's an AFC game, from that standpoint.
Right.
But
second tiebreaker.
I think Aaron Rodgers is going to do what Aaron Rodgers normally does. He's going to lead him up and down the field. And as long, there was that one pass that Rodgers had to Gainwell where Gainwell should have gone straight. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that was the third down play that they didn't get, right?
He took a little step back, and you could see Rodgers was frustrated. Like, you didn't go, you just keep going. So other than those things, I think Rodgers will do what Rodgers does. I think I think he's a great stopgap. I just don't think he's going to win anything in the playoffs with this team at all. And I know, let's be optimistic. Yeah, the defense played great today against what was, look, but
they were the best offense in the NFL. And right, they did it against them. They can do it against anybody.
You're exposing the Colts. They're not as good as everybody thought they were. But the thing is, over 8 games, they were the best offensive team in the NFL. So they were pretty damn good. Even though, yes, they did play against teams that had a 397 or 387 win percentage. I get it. But they are averaging 30 plus points a game. That's a hard one to do. The Grand Schwabini is in the house. He is watching on YouTube. Mark, we miss you. Happy birthday to Neil. Make sure you show him that picture you sent. He's looking good. He's not looking a day over 77 and a half. Missed a good one. My take, splash plays are cyclical. They last for a bit and then they go away.
Yeah.
Schwaber, if you were on the whole time and were paying attention at all, and you may have been or may not, I don't know, but we did kind of point that out. Is it sustainable? And that's why we have, will it continue? And I want to say yes. I want to know what you guys out there think. Do you think this D will continue like this? Is this the wake up call that they've been asking for, that we've been asking for? I don't know. But what do you think? Chris Chada thinks Schwabini might be right. Win 1, lose 2, win 1, lose 2, squeak into the playoffs, maybe. Then quick and embarrassing exit. Chris Chada, you are a loyal listener, watcher. And I think I'm on the Grand Schwabini side on this one.
But I think if the Steelers get in this time, they're at least going to host a playoff game. Now that doesn't mean anything anymore to the Steelers, but
that's big talk. That's
What?
big. That's big talk at this point in the season.
What the hell do you mean by big talk?
If they get into the playoffs,
they're not going to get in with the wild card. Let's face facts.
I don't know. I mean, anything could happen. They're
No,
5-3.
No,
they're
dude.
5-3.
The AFC, whatever that AFC division is with Kansas City, they have 3 teams at 5-3.
That's right. Right
all
now.
3 of those teams are getting in. There's no way they're going to get a wild card.
Right now, things could change. Things could change.
They're good teams. They're going to be there. They've got proven quarterbacks. They've got a system that works. They're going to be there. Trust me. The question is can Baltimore start reeling them off in a row? That's our biggest challenge now.
Yeah, and
all we got to do is have the Ravens hit a bump in the road. The Ravens hit a bump in the road. That's all we got to do. Win one, lose one, win one, lose one, and maybe we beat the Bills in the interim. Because the Bills are already in a playoff position.
I don't know about that.
And, it makes us, feel a little bit better about it going into the playoffs. That's the way I feel about it. I feel better about this team only because this was the best offense in the league. I don't care about anything else but statistics. And statistically, that's what they were. And they shut them down. And they made their quarterback look like a fool. And so if we can do that, we can do it with anybody. I just hope this sparks a belief in the defense that, brings on nothing but positive things from here on out. Now, do I believe that's going to happen? I definitely am skeptical about that happening. I think the offense has some things that they need to put together as far as, a sustainable drive. Third down plays, they got to absolutely work on it. Some of those plays in the red zone, they got to work on that too. So I think the offense has just as much to work for as the defense. And they're in a good position. 5-3 at the midway point, to me, is where you want to be, especially when the rest of the division is, 3-5. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Schwaber says you do have to say it's a good win. They beat the team with the best record. True. Absolutely. And D says this game causes me to drink. Listen, man, football is a reason.
Right, D.
It's not a cause. Yeah. But football is a reason. It's a reason to drink. It's not a cause, right? I mean, most people drink for football. They're like, oh, look, football, crack a beer.
Sometimes I have to just walk away from the television, honestly.
Not for me, though.
D, I'm with you there because I started watching that game and I saw Alex Pierce catching balls. Yeah. I saw Danny Dimes, hitting everything. Now, I was still happy that they were stopping Jonathan Taylor at that point, but I felt the same way about midway through the first. I'm like, oh, God. And then when TJ got that strip sack, I started to feel a little bit better, but I didn't really start feeling better till maybe that JPJ interception.
Yeah, well,
that was late, or maybe that field goal. Maybe that field goal that took them back up to 17. When there was about 10 minutes left. That probably at that point I felt pretty good about them getting the win. But yeah, I'm with you, D. I mean, this team is still troublesome. Like there's still a lot to figure out on this team. They're not a proven commodity.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the bottom line is the D put together, a consistent game. Now, the interesting thing is here's the thing. Here's the splash play effect.
Right.
The Colts had 368 total yards. So, they gave up 450 yards the last couple games. So they gave up 368. Take those other games out of it. Your team gives up 368 yards. You're not happy. The 6 turnovers, obviously. I mean, I'm not talking about anything anybody doesn't know, but it's kind of like, let's put this into perspective back to you can't count on 3+ turnovers every game. You just can't. So,
they wouldn't have been playing that prevent defense. They had 150 of those 368 yards in the fourth quarter after the Steelers already had the game in hand. So that's always, to me, it's like, what really mattered is how many rushing yards did Jonathan Taylor had and how many interceptions did Danny Dimes have. To me, I don't care about that 368 yards when 165 of it is in the fourth quarter when you're already up by 17 points. That doesn't mean anything.
A very good point. A very good point, because the Colts up until this game had not had a 100-yard receiver in any individual game. But they had two 100-yard receivers in this game, Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman Jr., each with 115 yards, a lot of which were on some chunk plays, down near the end of the game where they were trying to get within one score, which they did manage to do. Yeah. So you're absolutely right. I mean, I get it. And yes, this circles us all the way back to what I said in the beginning, stopping Jonathan Taylor, no matter how many yards they gained. He only had 45 yards on the ground.
Right.
And he only had 2 catches for 12 yards. So,
yeah, that's big.
And he's kind of like a Swiss Army knife for them. So I think that was excellent. Can that continue? The answer is yes, it can continue. The problem is we don't know whether it will or not with this defense. Per my preference for 3 and outs over splash, says Mr. Tummy. Better time of possession, less yardage given up. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a more classic defensive way to do it. And I agree with you. I think on both sides, the offense and the defense, they absolutely need to be working on those third down plays, because we have to get more and we have to give up less. That's what's been killing us. That's what's been sustaining drives. That's what keeps the defense on the field. And that's what makes the defense tired. So they almost have to make splash plays, because it seems like they certainly couldn't stop them on fourth down, and even third down. It was not good today. So that's where the Steelers got some work to do. I think if they can work on that, I think it will continue, and they'll look better winning games when it comes that way. But otherwise, I think you're just forced to drink with D. I think that's really what it comes down to it.
I won't be doing that well, I mean, D could have a drink near me. I just, I'd rather drink a Virgil's root beer. If you like root beer, Virgil's root beer. Shout out to them, because that's the best root beer I ever had. They sell it at TJ's, which is why.
You need to start drinking some Turner's tea.
No, not a big tea fan. I mean, like on a really, really hot day after mowing my lawn, iced tea with a little bit of honey in it. Oh, perfect. But other than that, not like the Grand Schwabini drinking that diet stuff, that diet tea. He's pissing out chemicals. I don't know what's in that stuff. No idea. Feel the Steel says, cheers, the Sports Porch. Wow, fellas, who showed up today? That's no football. No, that's football, especially the offense. No 3 and outs and score when defense gives you the ball back. Listen, that's a big thing we didn't completely discuss. It's almost, and thanks for being here, Feel the Steel. And if you're just joining us on YouTube at the Sports Porch Podcast, hit the subscribe button for us. We're trying to grow this channel. It's a small channel right now, but we've grown over 560% this year. That's a better number than saying we've finally reached almost 250 subscribers, isn't it? Feel
the Steel's been here before. He knows what's going on.
No, I know. I'm talking to everybody else who's here. Mark Schwaber says, I know T bitches. Anyways, so
he does know T bitches. He ain't wrong there.
We did have a conversation, I think. I don't remember which game it was. It was earlier this year where we were talking about the fact that they were getting splash plays, they were getting turnovers, but they weren't scoring. And in past years, they would never score off of turnovers. This was big. And with Aaron Rodgers at the helm, again, experienced quarterback. I'm not going to take you to the promised land anymore. But look, he's going to keep you in games. Like he said at the beginning of the year, I'm going to throw touchdown passes. He's going to lead you down the field. So if you give him a short field, he knows what to do with the ball. He knows you gave him a gift. He's the one that has to unwrap it, show it to everybody, and say thank you. And that's by taking it down the field and scoring a touchdown. And he did that. Yeah, that was huge today. Absolutely huge.
How about Aaron Rodgers trying to run that ball in?
Oh, I thought he was dead.
Were you scared to death or what?
I thought he was dead.
I was hoping he was going to get out of bounds, and I'm like, he's not making it out of bounds. I wonder what's going to happen here, because he didn't really have enough space to slide, and it looked like he did make an effort to try and get to the goal line, but man, he got smacked right on the 1 yard line.
And I think if you talk to him after the game about it, I'm sure they'll ask him a question about it. I'm sure one of these Yinzers will do that.
Yeah.
I think he's going to tell you he was stuck in no man's land And he was like, I did not want to end up here because I got two choices, you know what I mean? And one of them's going to hurt, you know?
Yeah.
So he kind of half-assed it. And when he bent over and got hit on the back, I thought, damn, they're going to break his back. You know, he's 41 years old. They're going to break his back. And then we're going to have to go to Mason Rudolph. And then we're going to do that drill all over.
It's so funny. Remember back in the day when he was playing with the Packers, he would just run that in and he would do the discount double check with the belt on, you know?
Yeah.
And it was just so ironic, like how far he's come from that.
Yeah.
It's
now
gotta
when
be
if he
hard
runs
for
in the
him.
end zone, he's gonna take off his Depends and swing him over his head.
Yeah.
know,
well, he needed them there because I bet he wasn't. He was leaking from an orifice when he got hit that time.
Yeah,
I can tell you that.
Schwaber says, just looking at the stats, it looks like the Steelers couldn't run today minus the TDs. That's absolutely right. I mean, but you know what? It's more that not that they couldn't run. It's honestly, Schwaber, I'm looking at these stats. Yeah, they couldn't run. 16 of 31 for Jaylen Warren, an average of 1.9 yards a carry. You know, his long was 8. He got the 2 TDs rushing, but yeah, I mean, if you were to pick something that was bad offensively from the game, I would say that because, but the thing is, Rodgers made up for the running game with short passes.
Yeah, that's what they were doing.
So it's kind of like, did they actually have trouble, or was the game plan more let's bring them in to try to stop the run because they know that we have a time of possession issue. So they're going to try to control the ball and keep it a low scoring game. And then Rodgers is getting that ball out quick the way he did, 25 completions to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different receivers, which is the advantage he gives you. That's the advantage he gives you. Wilson will never see the ball again. Wilson will never see the ball again. You know what? That's Mike Tomlin, right, HJ? That's a possibility.
It is a possibility. I mean that's what he did with
Johnson.
Caleb Johnson finally got a rush today. I think that's his second rush since that mistake in the end zone.
Took him 3 games
against Seattle.
Yeah. When you get in Tomlin's doghouse, you do sit. I mean, that's one of the things that I'll give him as a positive, I guess. I mean,
that was a boneheaded play by Roman Wilson. I mean, you can't fumble that ball. You just, you got to know just to fall down there. You don't try and make a play to get to the end zone. You don't need it. It's situational. Now, was he coached to do that, or did he just go rogue? I bet my guess is he wasn't coached that. He didn't know. He wasn't thinking he needed to go down. It wasn't ingrained in his brain.
Right. And we've had this issue before with the Steelers and the coach.
It almost happened at halftime. CA3 caught that ball, and I know you were thinking the same thing I was. He's not going to fall down in time. They're not going to get to kick this field goal.
Yeah.
And they still had 2 or 3 seconds left, but so he did do a good job there. Look, the Steelers got a little bit lucky today. That muff punt was a big help too. I think the football gods were smiling down upon Acrisure today, and the Steelers took advantage of it. And the Colts aren't that great of a 7-1 team. That's really at the bottom line. That's what it comes down to. And the Steelers are not a 4-4 team. They're more like a 5-3 team. And that's the way I think that makes sense.
Okay. Before we get to the last part I want to talk about, Feel the Steel says another Sunday where everything went the Steelers' way. I just can't wait for what Teflon Don is going to say, or has he spoken already? So that leads me to this. I love this game in this town. This is all the content we need sometimes. Has your opinion of Tomlin changed because of this win? Has your opinion? Now look, this is a dumb question if you're a serious fan here, as far as I'm concerned. But trust me when I tell you, this is going to be all over the radio tonight, tomorrow, the next day, 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 until they win or lose next week. Then they're going to ask the question again, because it's week to week now, know? And there are going to be some people that are like, see, Tomlin's a great coach. Maybe, the CBS Sports Minutes, maybe Mike Tomlin, his message has finally gotten through, and he's shown that he's going to be the Steelers coach for the next 450 years. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. Has your opinion of Tomlin changed? I'll give you my answer right now. No, my opinion of Tomlin has not changed. This is a classic Tomlin rebound game. The defense stepped up because, let's face it, they're paid a lot of goddamn money. All right. And they had to, period. Can they keep it going? Yeah, I think they can. Will they? No clue. So no. Tomlin's message to me is still stale until they get to the championship game, at least. And that's not going to be this year. So
the championship game?
Well, look.
The championship game?
All right.
How about let's win a playoff game?
Well, look. Right. I mean, I know, but see, that's settling for mediocrity. Okay.
Well, I'm being realistic here. I mean,
well, right.
They barely can make the playoffs, let alone be competitive in a playoff game. How about be competitive in a playoff game? How about play a playoff game where you only give up less than 21 points? How about that? That would be fun.
Yeah.
My opinion is the same too. It hasn't changed. It'll never change about Mike Tomlin, but all the Tomlin apologists will be out there singing his praises. And everybody, against Tomlin, has to eat a little bit of crow right this week.
I don't think so.
No, you do. You absolutely have to.
He does this every year.
He took down the number one offense.
Okay.
And we say he's in charge of the defense. He's to blame. Well, you got to give him the props too. So when he takes down the number one, when he takes down the number one offense and he shuts down the number one rusher in the NFL, you got to say, good job. Way to do it. And you know how he did it? He got him out there practicing this week. He didn't say you're taking the day off. You're putting your damn helmet on. You're going to practice. That's the way he did it. Now, will he do it again? Or will he say, take the week off? We got a long flight out to LA. So, we don't have to practice hard this week because good job this week. That's the problem with Tomlin. He can be a good coach when he needs to be, but he's just not consistent enough. Like, do you think for a second, do you feel good about beating Miami? No, you don't. You think Miami can come in here and beat us because why? It's the Tomlin trap game because he has one every year. So that's the thing about Coach Tomlin. Like, he can go out there and beat the best team, then he can go out there the next week and lose to the worst team. And that's the ridiculousness. That's the ridiculousness that's Coach T, right? That's the way it is. So, and my opinion will never change until he can show me that not only can you beat a top-ranked team like the Colts were and still are, they probably still have the best record in the AFC. They do, actually. The Broncos won. So they're tied with the Broncos. As long as he can go out and then just absolutely humiliate the Miami Dolphins here in Pittsburgh when they come to the Steel City, then I'll say, okay, maybe Tomlin has turned it. Maybe he can, be a tough coach week in and week out, but I don't know. We'll see when Miami comes into town, and let's see what happens.
The Grant Schwabini chiming in from somewheres south of here says his opinion hasn't changed. This is a good point, actually. Lose to a team you should beat. Win against a team on paper you shouldn't. Tell me what's different. We don't have to go there because Steve's a Yenzer. He'll want to talk about that for the next 30 minutes. And
there's always Monday. We can get back to it on Monday.
Right. We will get back to it on Monday. Feel the Steel says, another great Sports Porch show. I love it when facts are spoken. We love it when you give us love. Absolutely. You can.
That's what we do here. Feel the Steel.
Even more love by hitting that subscribe button on YouTube at the Sports Porch Podcast.
Hey, I got one more thing before we sign off.
You're so interruptive lately. You get so excited for Steelers games, and then it's like I can't get my shit out, and you're like halfway through it.
Well, all you want to do is talk about hitting the subscribe button and shit like that. I want to talk about the damn Steelers, okay?
All right, one more thing. One more point.
In this case, it doesn't have to do with the Steelers. I just want to know, if anybody out there knows, please send us an email. Just hit the DM. Let us know. Is there something in J.J. Watt's contract that says he has to announce all of T.J. Watt's games? He's always the announcer during the Steelers games, isn't he? It's like, what is this guy? Like, is he following around his brother now? It's just, it drives me nuts.
Yeah,
like,
probably.
Can't we get another announcer? I mean, I've heard JJ, with enough accolades about TJ and, about oh, this is a great down to be rushing the quarterback. I don't need him anymore. Can we just get somebody else, please? Anybody else?
Sure, no problem. I'll send that right along. Feel this deal. I think yes, it looks obvious. I'll pass that right along to CBS Media.
Anybody out there, if you can let us know what's going on there, I appreciate that.
100%. All right, guys, listen. If you are watching on Twitter, I'd love for you to go over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button at the Sports Porch Podcast. Click notifications. You'll get the post-game show. You'll get notified when we go live, which is every Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can also follow us on the podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. That's it for this Steelers post-game. We'll see you tomorrow night. We're going to talk about a lot more stuff. But until then, I'm your TD for Hockey Jesus. We'll see ya. I am out. Jablonsk.